Good morning, Faith UCC. I'm a little slow on the draw today. I missed my cue by good old Casey. I wonder if you'll join me in opening up our worship this morning with a call to worship. And then we'll have a meaningful, deeply meaningful spiritual time together on Super Bowl Sunday. Talk more about that later. Will you join me in our call to worship? Here in this place, there are no strangers, for all are welcome in this sacred house.
Here in this sacred place, there is only embrace, for love is the language of faith.
Here in our lives, there are no divisions, for light dwells in each of us.
Come, let us be together in unity, love, and light, and may our light shine, shine, shine.
I wonder if you rise up in body or spirit with me. Casey, my thing is not working here. There we go. We got to sing a great kind of boisterous hymn for the day, right? Let's rise up in body or spirit, join our voices in this little light of mine. Let's just go home. Sing that a couple more times and call it a day, I think, huh?
Everyone's woke.
Everyone's woke now. If you weren't woke before, you definitely are woke now. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to Faith United Church of Christ on this beautiful Sunday in February here in Dunedin, Florida. And a special welcome to all of you online, wherever you're coming from. We know that you are here. We extend a special welcome to all of you, especially any visitors that are online with us for the first time or in person with us for the first time. I think we have quite a few first-time visitors. We're delighted to have you here with us. If you are visiting, you're in person, sign our friendship book, which we keep on the table in the gathering space. We can keep you apprised of all the happenings we have going on here, which is a lot. If you look at this list, and if you're online, just send a note to office@faithucc.org, and we'll get you on that same list. And if you are online, do us a favor. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, like and share. It helps us get our message out there wider and farther so more and more folks keep finding us. So I greatly appreciate you taking a moment to do that. Oh, gotta shorten up that intro. Well, today is, if it's Super Bowl Sunday, it's Super Bowl Sunday for us here. I want to say thank you. 490 pounds of food have already come in or dropped off. Not to mention, we have a $125 donation from our artist in the house, which is awesome. Lucy, thank you. And other donations have come in. We're competing with all the other, it's kind of an informal competition with the other Dunedin churches, but we still want to smash them, right? I mean, it's what we do. Yeah, come on. We are the turkey champions here. We have a reputation to uphold. So if you haven't had a chance to bring in your canned goods, your super stuff, you can still do that. We have a drop box right out here. You can go shopping right after the Publix is right up there, right? Running up, just grab a cart and just clear the soup, the Campbell section right on in there. You help us get a big number, but more than that, you're helping feed our hungry neighbors. And that's why we do these things. We have some fun while we're doing them, but the ultimate goal is to help our neighbors to enjoy meals and have the things that they need in their cupboards and to be able to enjoy the Super Bowl with some food and some good things. So thank you all for have donated, and if you're still looking to donate, we can take cash too. I think it's $1 per pound equals, so if you want to write a check to Dunedin Cares, you can do that today as well. And we will make sure it gets over to them tomorrow and becomes part of our Super Bowl collection. So thank you. Strategic planning, we're going to do just a brief strategic planning, like 4 hours today after the service, no longer. Game's not till like 6:30, people, so come on. You got plenty of time. What do you really get to watch all that pregame stuff? I mean, who watches that stuff, right? Come on. So, no, we'll just an hour tops. We've got a video by Neil Watkins. We're going to break into those 5 groups that we identified and kind of have you start brainstorming. Most of you wrote down if you a particular group that you're on. If you were not here for any of the strategic planning, that's okay. Stick around anyways. You'll find a place to squeeze in, no problem. So that'll be right after. Just grab some quick hospitality and then come on back in, stick around, watch our video from Neil, and then we'll regroup into some groups for 45 minutes tops. And we'll get on out of here to continue our Super Bowl celebration. So that is today. Mardi Gras is next week. Can you believe? Did we just have Christmas? Swear to God, we were just here on Christmas Eve, like yesterday. And now we're celebrating Mardi Gras. It's the 19th. It's next week. We're going to have pulled pork sandwiches. We're going to have jambalaya. We're going to have all the other stuff that you all signed up to bring on that board out there. And I think there's still salads and chips, and I think there's still some lines on there to fill out in there. So take a look at the Mardi Gras board and see what we still need, help cleaning up, setting up, all that good stuff. There's going to be Bloody Marys. I mean, how cool is that? We have Bloody Marys on Mardi Gras Sunday and other non-alcoholic beverages and things like that. So, and like I said last week, it can be a BYOB. We're okay. I think we're going there now. So have some fun. Let's have a good time next week and really celebrate Mardi Gras. And stay tuned for more news coming about Lent as we kind of work on that Lenten schedule. But hopefully you can take that as a time just to slow it down a bit in this crazy, busy world. Maybe we use Lent as just a time of centering ourselves. So watch for more information about that. We have a concert coming. If that's not exciting enough, how about this guy coming in, huh? He looks like a serious musician, doesn't he? The Jeffrey Straker, is it Straker, Beth Ann? Straker. Looks fast. I listened to a little bit of his music. Looks fascinating, great sound. He's going to be here Saturday, March 11th. Doors open at 6:15, concert at 7. Bring an hors d'oeuvre to share. Beverages will be provided, and it's only $20. The money goes to support him and his duo. so they can keep creating their art. So we've had fantastic concerts up here. The last couple we've done, every one has just been amazing. So thank you to our Music and Magic team and for putting this together. And just, are we selling tickets today, Beth Ann? Or? Yes. Yep, we're selling tickets. You got tickets for everything. You got Mardi Gras, you got the concert, got all sorts of stuff. So plan on, mark your calendars for Saturday, March 11th, 7 p.m. here, and pick up a ticket today from our ticket sales people out in the gathering space. Should be great. A couple other announcements I want to invite up. We've got a couple special announcements. Let's invite Nan Dahlberg up. Oh, let's invite Barb Turner up first. I'm going to go in order for Labyrinth Day.
Good morning, everyone. So this coming Saturday, February 18th, we have two really exciting Labyrinth events happening. At noon, Labyrinth facilitator Ingrid Bredenberg will be here to help us create and lay out a temporary labyrinth right adjacent to the butterfly garden. And at 1 o'clock, she will lead us in a workshop exploring the history and uses of labyrinths, and an opportunity for you to have your own spiritual experience walking the labyrinth. And we're so excited. This is our Field of Dreams first manifestation. We've been dreaming of putting a labyrinth on these grounds, and we truly believe that if we build it, you will come and they will come, the community will come. So if you're not sure what a labyrinth is or why you want to walk it, come and help us out, help us create it at noon, and have your own experience of walking it at 1 o'clock. All are welcome, men, women, children, neighbors, church folk, non-folk, church folk, anyone. All are welcome. If you have any questions, see me or Marge or Leslie or Esther. Thank you. Hope to see you there.
Thank you, Barbara. It's kind of a little look. You can kind of see the labyrinth behind the bench there. That's what it could look like in the future. I'm so excited about the prospect of having a labyrinth. There is not one in Dunedin. So we would be the first labyrinth in Dunedin. And I think that's a really big deal because it's such a spiritual instrument for going within and centering ourselves. So I'm hoping that we can make this happen, but then it's a great day to start off and celebrate. So Nan Dahlberg with some band book stuff. Good God.
I know that's not for me, it's for the band book. Mike and I have determined that the second Sunday of the month will be Band Book Sunday. So this is February's band books. So this morning, would you believe it, Dr. Seuss? Theodore Seuss Geisel was born in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1904. And in the summer of 1936, returning from a vacation in Germany on a ship bound for New York, Theodore began scribbling lines of nonsense poetry on the ship's stationery to entertain himself during the boring hours. The rhythm of the poems was syncopated to the thrumming of the ship's engines. Those rhymes morphed into his first children's book, and it was called And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street. In the beginning, Geisel was rejected by 30 different publishers. Nobody would want a book that sounds like this. But he was finally accepted when a friend who had an inn with Random House Books took a chance and agreed to publish a small number of books. 60 books and 70 million copies later, Dr. Seuss is the world's most enduring children's book author. But some aspects of Seuss's work have not aged well. Whereas in previous things we've talked about banned books, this is coming from the Seuss Foundation and his family, because they noted that many of his books, although some of the other banned books we've talked about have been banned by overzealous or protective parents, this one is from the Geisel estate, who says that some of Geisel's books have, even though they have a long history of being published, They are both racist and anti-Semitic. Of the 50 depictions, for example, of African people in his books, more than half of them resemble monkeys. And his illustrations of Asians are negatively stereotypical. And because Theodor Geisel illustrated his own books, it's not possible to just remove those images or replace them with someone else's art. It would destroy his legacy. But take heart. These books, the ones I brought this morning, Green Eggs and Ham and Hop on Pop, are not banned. Although someone told me that Hop on Pop was banned, but I couldn't find that anywhere in my research. But anyway, Green Eggs and Ham and The Grinch and Horton Hatches a Who, they'll always be available. The banned books are, ironically, some of the ones that sold the least. So they are If I Ran the Zoo, the one about Mulberry Street, On Beyond Zebra, McGilligan's Pool, The Cat Quizzler, and Scrambled Eggs Super. So bottom line, you probably won't miss any of those books from his extensive list. But I have 3 books to give away today, since these are not banned books and they were on our banned books list. So I close with this. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. Buy Dr. Seuss books. They're money well spent.
Wow, okay. That doesn't get you wanting to take a look at that banned book library. You know, Hop on Pop has been banned. It was banned in my household when I had young kids because they were jumping on me constantly. It was because of that dang book. So I banned that book from the house. I said, no more Hop on Pop. It's out of here. It's so sore, you know. So there you go. It has been banned. Who's banning books on Hammer and Hank Aaron? I mean, do you know that? They cleared a book out of a library in Duval County on Hank Aaron? Yep. Hammer and Hank, a man of incredible faith, a great baseball player, a phenomenal human being and humanitarian. They want kids reading about Hank Aaron. What's wrong with this state? And Roberto Clemente, top it all off, and Rosa Parks, and the list goes on and on. We know why it's happening, don't we? We know why. March, you got to follow that with an Anam Cara announcement. We'll journey ever deeper into our service.
Good morning. Next month, Anam Cara will be hosting some events in celebration of Women's History Month. We all know that women's rights are being challenged in this country as well as around the world, and these very serious issues will be addressed. However, we also want to celebrate and honor the achievements of women and have some fun too. Isn't that what the song says? Girls just want to have fun. That being said, Anam Cara will be purchasing group tickets to see a performance of the hit musical 9 to 5 that was adapted from the classic movie that starred Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, and Dolly Parton back in 1980. It's a long time ago, right? Yeah, you all remember that one. Well, Dolly Parton wrote the music and lyrics for this show that played on Broadway and was nominated for 8 Tony Awards. Lucky for us, the 9 to 5 musical will be playing locally at the Largo Performing Arts Center's 8 o'clock theater. And we think it would be fun to go as a group to see it on Sunday, March 5th, 2 p.m. matinee. Tickets are $32 each. We already have 22 people coming, women and men. I will be purchasing the tickets this week, so if you're interested in joining us, please see me after church. Thank you.
That's great. And after you see that, you can go see 80 for Brady, because aren't they all? It's the same cast. The 9 to 5 cast is in 80 to Brady with Tom Brady. I think that's, a lot more announcements we're going to hang on to. We've got, in honor of Black History Month, we've got a fantastic speaker coming up at the end of the month who will be joining us from Stetson Law school, and she's done extreme work on criminalization and incarceration and woke movements and Black Lives Matter. She's going to be here. She'll give a phenomenal, join us for a really rich time. I think that's on the 26th, and we've got some big Holocaust news coming up in April. So stay tuned for some other really big things on the horizon. I want to lift up just some concerns real quick. Continue to hold Jude Decker in your hearts and prayers. Jude's probably online with us. We're thinking of you, Jude. And Jude goes in this week on Tuesday, Valentine's Day of all days, for a heart catheterization. So we'll hold Jude. She's been waiting for this moment and hoping this is going to give her some confidence to get back out and to feel better. But just know we're thinking about you, Jude. And if you need anything, lean on us. We are here for you as your church family. So we're thinking about you on Tuesday and going forward. Also hold, this one is Mark Hewitt. Hold Mark Hewitt on your hearts and prayers. Mark's had his appendix burst and went in for emergency surgery, and it affected all sorts of things, and he's in some pretty rough shape. He's at Morton Plant, hooked up to like 5 different tubes, and just wants to get home, but some things have to happen before he gets home. So if you're online with us, Mark and Bill, just know we're thinking about you and hoping that you can heal up this week and get home as soon as possible to your own bed. I know it's been a tough week. But lean on us. If you guys need some food or some meds picked up or anything, rides, you just lean on us and we'll be there for you. So hold Mark Hewitt in your hearts and prayers. And also hold Maria, Tom Miller's niece, in your hearts and prayers. Continue. We lifted her up last week. She's going through a really, really hard time due to some work anxiety and some job anxiety and employment things. So hold Maria as well in your hearts and prayers. And finally, I just found out that Sue Markowitz, our very own Sue, has, Sue, right? Yeah, Sue, yes. I think of Joan. Sue has COVID. I thought Sue already had COVID. Joan's like, no, that was me that had COVID. So hold Sue in your hearts and prayers. And not fun. Super Bowl Sunday, home with COVID, and sounds like she's kind of sick. So if you're online with us, we're thinking about you, Sue. Give her our best afterwards. If you guys need anything, you let us know, okay? Absolutely. That's all I have for concerns. And I just want to celebrate, a joy. Is that it's Super Bowl Sunday. That's a joy, and maybe that's a concern for some of you. I don't know. But I do want to celebrate a big joy. Do you hear the sound in here? Yes. How does the sound sound? Like really good, especially if you're in the back there. Haven't I been promising you that? Occasionally I do come through on my promises. It's rare, but they do happen. But it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the work of this man over here, Casey over in the corner, AV guy. He spent the entire weekend here basically working on this, getting this ready for us and getting it going, and it works wonders today. So Casey, thank you. Big shout out to you for all of your extra effort here and allowing people to actually hear what's going on now. So, and of course, whenever things go wrong, we also blame you. So there you go. Let's just take a moment. We're going to have a centering prayer based on the labyrinth. What? Joy. Oh, the piano's back. That's a joy, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Did anybody know our piano was gone? A couple of you? We had an upright piano. This has been refurbished and restored. And we didn't think we were going to get it back till like Easter or something after the Easter season. And between Brian and Carolyn and Frank, it was Frank the guy that redid the whole thing? Amazing. They restored this thing. It sounds wonderful. And Brian, especially, thanks for all your coordination on getting pianos in and out of here. I know that's no easy job. So absolutely. That is another joy. But hey, let's move into a moment of centering. I invite you just to close your eyes, and we're going to have some words on the power and the meaning of labyrinth for our centering time. Just want you to, before that, just take a few deep breaths and breathe in a sense of hope in this time. And as you breathe in, know that your breath is intimately connected to that mystery that we name God, and something we can never escape. Part of us, our very being. So breathe in a sense of goodness and joy and let go of any anxiety as best you can. I know we're all carrying it in some form or another. We try and let that go in this time. Present moment as you breathe in, and beautiful moment as you breathe out. Let's hear some beautiful words from Wendy on the labyrinth.
This was written by Esther Misroy. This holy circle, lying flat against the back of Mother Earth, with twisting faith and Celtic cross, shaded by the whispering trees that bless us as we walk here where God rests and waits with love to hear our prayers. My heart is open as I move onto the winding path, so sanctified by a multitude of prayers, of those many others who have come before me to seek his loving respite on this holy way. I am prayerful as I tread the winding path enriched by a multitude of feet of those many others who have come before me to walk this shell-strewn way, to bring their hopes, their griefs and sorrows, to bring thanksgiving, joys, and dreams, brought prayerfully into the solace of his loving and encircling arms. And as I walk, I am aware of the great mystery of God, a mighty presence that encompasses the vastness of the universe, and all mankind and every living creature, tree and stone encompasses with love. This labyrinth, this holy circle, lying flat against the back of Mother Earth, here where God rests to hear our prayers, with endless love and understanding, here where the whispering trees bless us as we pray.
see if this needs to be up a little higher. The scripture reading today is from the book of Psalms, Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth should change, though the mountains shake in the heart of the sea, though the waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble with its tumult. There is a river whose stream makes glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of the city. It shall not be moved. God will help it when the morning dawns. The nations are in an uproar. The kingdoms totter. He utters his voice. The earth melts. Oh. Whoa. The voice of God. Okay. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of the Lord. See what desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I am exalted among the nations. I am exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge.
Settle down over there, Casey. Settle down.
I had it muted during the fire anthem, and that's what it was.
I know you're excited. This past week has been yet another fascinating week in the news, has it not? With countless stories to talk about around the proverbial water cooler, spy balloons, UFOs over Alaska. A couple days ago, and now did I hear this morning as well, they shot something else down over Yukon? Isn't that crazy? How about the State of the Union? Anybody watch the State of the Union? Yeah. And all its drama? Or how about the Super Bowl buildup and the hype and so much more in terms of happenings and events and stories popping up all around the globe? This is definitely not a boring time to be alive, is it? Scary, oh yeah, at times, but definitely not boring. But as I surveyed all the news this past week, I was going to go in a whole different direction for this sermon, but I ended up here, for good or for bad. There were two stories in particular that really stood out to me as profound moments in our world. Stories that everyone should be talking about, and stories that can do nothing short of move us emotionally, though for very different reasons, which will be obvious. One comes from what I like to call the toy department, which is to say it's a sports story. But in this case, it's a sports story of triumph and a story of recovery that seems almost to border on the miraculous. I'm guessing you know where I'm going with that one. The other story is, my God, it's a heartbreaker. It's a real heartbreaker that captured me in ways that I cannot put into words. It comes from across the globe, where a natural disaster struck that has left, at latest count this morning, I heard 30,000 people either killed or missing. And that number, I've heard, is likely to go as high as 100,000 or 200,000. It's going to go up. Brace yourself. It's a tragic story of loss and hope, and one that will be seared in our minds for some time. But connecting these two stories, I unpacked them this week for me as a psalm. Psalm 46 that Larry just read, and the confidence from an ancient writer that no matter what is happening, no matter what it is that we're going through, there is a presence, like a calming river flowing through the worst of times, bringing a sense of hope and trust even amidst life's hardest realities. And that's why that psalm spoke to me this week, and I just wanted to share it today. So let's start with the heartbreaking story and leave the toy department for last. I was watching Fox News, just testing to see who was sleeping. I was watching Morning Joe on Thursday morning. Why do I do that? And they were talking about the awful earthquake that rocked parts of Turkey and Syria, areas known to have really weak building infrastructure. So the worst place, really, for a magnitude is a 7.6, 7.8 earthquake to hit. I mean, one of the worst places. These are skyscrapers that are not built to any kind of hurricane code. And a 7.6 earthquake hits it. So they were showing photos of the devastation and the rescue, the amazing rescues from people working so hard, and the humanitarian efforts and the camps and all the pictures of human struggle that come along with such a disaster as this, as unfathomable as it is. And then they showed this one photo. Oh, God. Some of you have probably seen it. I can't shake it from my mind, so I'm going to share it. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, but we got to enter into the realities of life, folks. It's this one here. How many of you saw this? Yeah, that's, God. It's a photo of a father. It's a father clutching the hand of his 15-year-old daughter. Hang on a second. 15-year-old daughter who lies crushed beneath the collapsed rubble of the apartment that they shared. Actually, if you pan out, it just looks like a pyramid. He's actually probably on about the 14th, 15th floor. He just walked right up because it pancaked right down. So I know it's hard to look at. It's a really hard photo to look at. The apartment lies in layers, one floor on top of the other, but the man's daughter's hand was extended from beneath the concrete rubble. It is said he just stayed there, holding her hand and sitting in shock and pain and grief, unable to move from or leave his beloved child behind. I don't know what has happened since this photo was taken the other day, but what I do know is that this father, along with so many other families, seeking out loved ones amidst the rubble and chaos created by the earth shaking, in a terrible time of mourning and grief. So I just want to say, let us hold this father. His name's Mesut Hanser, and his daughter Irmak, in our prayers this day, as well as all those seeking loved ones from this god-awful disaster. The story was the lowest of the low for me this week. I mean, it really was. And again, I cannot shake it from my mind, but I wanted to share it in relation to our psalm, which I'll return to in just a moment. Sometimes we just need to see the realities of life, even on days we want to celebrate. Shifting gears to our other story, from the lowest story unfolding in Turkey and Syria right now to the highest story of the week for me, unfolding in Arizona. Many of us watched on Thursday night at a little thing called the NFL Honors Awards show, something held just before the Super Bowl is played. We bore witness, I don't know who saw it, to an amazing thing that happened. This night in the NFL, I'm going to go ahead forward. This night, NFL is usually geared toward handing out achievement awards like the NFL MVP and Rookies of the Year, all that fun stuff. The Man of the Year, wasn't it Dak Prescott that won the Man of the Year? Yeah, the only time I ever cheered for a Cowboy. Let me tell you. I like a guy that gets that joke. I've watched this show every single year. Every year I watch it with gleeful anticipation. I find it interesting, nothing to write home about, but interesting as a fan of football, and it's kind of a wrap-up to the one game left, right, which is the one tonight. But this year, in what was surely the best moments in sports of the year, if not really in general, late into the show, a large group of people, you see behind, assembled onto the stage. None of the usual recognizable stars or media, the NFL. They were medical staff. They were trainers. They were doctors. They were nurses and other folks that were in some way involved in saving the life of a young man who went into cardiac arrest on a football field in Cincinnati just, 5 weeks ago? Handful of weeks ago. This young man is Damar Hamlin, who died not once on that field, but twice. Not once, but twice. And yet walked onto the stage that night as every person in that auditorium leapt to their feet, tears in their eyes, jumping up to celebrate the joy of one heck of an amazing recovery of number 3 for the Buffalo Bills. I heard heck even Bengals fans applauded. That's how crazy this was. First time they've ever applauded for a Bills fan. Is that true, or for is that true, Bengals fans? Yeah. So, unlike the first story of pain and loss, this story also moved me profoundly. And though this time it moved me to the highest of highs rather than the lowest of lows. So, two different stories, lots of strong emotions and reactions, two different prayers for the future of both men involved, but stories that resonate because of how real they are and how they remind us of the fleeting nature of life and its unexpected twists and turns. But also stories where I think some of our great psalms come into play because they too were written amidst the highest of highs, like this, and the lowest of the lows, like our Father in Turkey. And Psalm 46 is a perfect psalm for both stories and for our own lives as well. Let me explain. I think sometimes, unfortunately, when we hear the scriptures read, we lose sight of their power as intimate and personal reflections from a person long ago speaking to the situations in life that they find themselves in. And we get blocked, we get kind of hemmed in by this idea that what we're hearing is, quote unquote, the Word of God. That's how often we hear the Psalms, the Word of God from the Bible. But that is not what the Psalms are in any way. And without going to do a sermon on the Psalms and their history, the Cliff Notes version of them is that they are anonymous reflections on life, on God, the human situation, tragedy, joy, struggle, the meanderings of life. They speak to a wide range of topics. They may do double duty in that they are at times speaking of the nation of Israel at times and all its historical ups and downs, but it's also hard to ignore their personal character of the words of so many Psalms. Think of Psalm 23, for instance. How many of you hold that one dear, right? Someone was going through a really hard time, and they put it into words. They wrote about it. It's not the Word of God. We need to stop thinking of it that way, but the word of a fellow human being going through some things and searching for and trusting in God amidst the hardest of times. So the Psalms mediate a God experience, in other words, in our attempt to trust a presence we sense is there amidst the times of life, all times of life. We can't always name it, we can't always, or even feel it, but in many cases we just need to trust that it is there, and the Psalms speak to that. That's why I couldn't get Psalm 46 out of my mind this week. It's a favorite of mine anyways, but it just kept popping back in ever since I saw that first image and then this story. And the Psalm speaks of a writer's trust in God as a refuge and a strength, a help amidst the troubled times. It speaks not of fearing though the earth should change, the mountains shake. I mean, you heard the scriptures, the waters foam and roar. Chaos sounds like what happened in Turkey and Syria, right? Metaphors, in this case, for really hard times. Really hard times. It speaks of times of uncertainty and fear and loss and deep pain, times when you might be scared out of your mind or grieving so deeply that it can just seem surreal. The psalmist appears to have been feeling that because you don't write psalms like that unless you're going through something. You don't write words like that unless you're really going through something. But then all through the psalm, we hear how the chaos and the fear and the uncertainty, the grief, all that hard stuff will be countered by a presence that calms the waters, that stills the seas, that smooths the land. Metaphors for peace and hope and life and trust, that they will get through those hard times, that a powerful presence they describe as God will see them through. They're describing the idea of, really, to borrow a Christmas term, Emmanuel, God with us, no matter where we find ourselves, no matter where you find yourselves, no matter how bad things get, no matter how low we are, God is with us. I find such power in that idea, and if I have a hallmark of my entire theology, it's exactly that, summed up in a nutshell. And I know even as I highlight the story from the image of the father in Turkey, and I can never speak for him. I can just weep. I can never speak for him and what he's going through, nor can I for Damar Hamlin. I can only see their stories and share their stories and hope for the best, in both instances. But I have a trust in the ancient writers that first began sharing their experiences of the intimacy of that which they named God in the midst of all times of their lives, and I can only speak of the same kind of hope in the lives of all who are suffering. That God is there in the midst of the struggles to help heal, to offer the courage to be amidst the tragedies of life, and to bring a sense of calm and stillness to those things that can just seem, God dang it, unfathomable. That is my hope for both of these men, as well as all the stories that we will see playing out on our television sets, and even all those that we don't. God is with them. And hopefully they can sense in their own ways what our psalmist did long ago and be held by the same kind of trust and peace. My hope is the same for you as well, each of you. I wrote this not just with the Father in mind or Damar Hamlin in mind, but with you and us and all the struggles that we might be going through, that you might be going through, God is with us wherever we find ourselves. Do you trust that? God is with you wherever you find yourself in this moment. I've heard people say, and this drives me crazy, drives me bonkers when I hear this said, as a theologian and as a pastor, and really just as a human being, as a spiritual person. I've heard that people say, God makes bad things happen for this reason or for that reason. God makes things happen for this reason or that reason, or to teach us a lesson, or to inspire us to become something else than what we had been before, or to give us strength and to make us stronger. That's not true. Good God, that's not true. The idea of God intervening in the lives of people to hurt or harm or make sick or give them a test to make them stronger or more of an inspirational person is just nonsense. It's utter nonsense. God did not give Damar Hamlin, I've heard this, people have said this, cardiac arrest twice to make him an inspiration. God did not leave that father grieving his daughter to teach him something so he can spread it to others. Those are childish ways of ruminating on faith. The faster we put those away, the better. Or rather, God is there in the midst of the pain as that source that can see us through all times of pain and beyond. When the waters are raging, God is the smooth harbor. When the mountains are quaking, God is the stillness. When the grief is unbearable, God is the sustaining hope. When the illness is just too much to handle, God is the comfort. When the noise gets too loud, God is the still silence. When you feel alone, God is the eternal now of presence. Once we dispense with the idea of God out there, well, then we can open ourselves to the fullness of God in here. And when we can do that, we can live with the trust that in our suffering, as the psalmist proclaimed, we will never be left alone. That's the lesson of so many of the Psalms. And there's so much wisdom in our ancient thought. So wherever you find yourselves this day, my friends, amidst the highest of highs, some of you may be, or the lowest of lows, where some of you also may be, or somewhere in between. My hope is that you can live this day with the confidence that you will never, ever live it alone. Live with the trust of the psalmist, that there is peace even in the midst of the chaos of life, and that, yes, your story too is imbued with the presence of God no matter how it is shaping up. There will be highs, and there will be lows, but through them all, there'll be a sustaining presence, and we call that presence Emmanuel, God with us in all times, and we will never be left alone. That's all I got to say today. You were going to get a sermon on Hank Aaron. I mean it. I can do it next week if you want. I had it all written and everything. Just didn't feel right. And I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, and we might not want to enter into these realities, but sometimes we just have to, because this is what matters in life. And this is where God is, right there, right there, and right there. So peace be with you, my friends. God is with you. Never forget that. And don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise, because it's just not true. Amen. right. That's beautiful. That's going to trouble that water. With that music of our choir still ringing in our hearts, let's journey into a deeper sense of prayer and stillness. Let's wade into the water of a prayerful and stilling time together, knowing that God is never farther than the beat of our own hearts or each breath that we take, and is always in the water with us. Let's have a moment of stillness and silent prayer or meditation together. as we continue this time of stilling our minds and our bodies and our spirits, let's do so with the words of the great theologian Howard Thurman. His beautiful prayer, "Open unto me." May these words have meaning for us this week, into the new week ahead. Lord, Lord, open unto me light for my darkness. Open unto me courage for my fear. Open unto me hope for my despair. Open unto me peace for my turmoil. Open unto me joy for my sorrow. Open unto me strength for my weakness. Open unto me wisdom for my confusion. Open unto me forgiveness for my sins. Open unto me tenderness for my toughness. Open unto me love for my hates. Open unto me thyself for myself. Lord, Lord, open unto me. For our world, especially those places of incredible suffering like Turkey and Syria and Ukraine and so many other places of pain, let us hold them, our world, in a spirit of prayer. And for those we know and love who are hurting, Mark and Jude and Sue, so many others in our community, and in the lives of those that we know and love outside of this community, let us hold them in our hearts and prayers. And on behalf of all the moments of gratitude that we carry, and in the midst of our own pain and our own wounds, let us make this prayer this day. Oh God, hear our prayer. I wonder if you'll join me in a beautiful interpretation of that ancient prayer that Jesus taught us from those hillsides long ago. The words are on the screen. Will you join me? O cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration, soften the ground of our being, carve out a space within us for your presence and life. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear the fruit of your mission. Let each of our actions bear fruit in accordance with our desire. Endow us with the wisdom to produce, share what each being needs to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled threads of destiny and bind us as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which would divert us from your true purpose, but illuminate the opportunities of the present. For you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the birth, the power, and fulfillment, as all is gathered and made whole once again. Oh man, that's a beautiful interpretation of the Lord's Prayer, isn't it? I love that. It's by Interfaith Power and Light, I think used for some environmental things that they did. Beautiful. Hey, we're coming to the end of our service here, and I know you all you're so eager to get to the strategic planning. I can see it on all your faces. You're like, come on, let's get to the strategic planning, Mike. So we're going to wrap up our service, of course, but I always want to say as we do this, thank you for your incredible generosity, whether that be your time, your talent, your treasure. Just know how grateful I am and your leadership team is, and just that you invest so much love into this place to help us spread out beyond these walls and preach messages of the love of God in the world, not the judgment of God, but the love of God in the world. And that's what we need to hear more of, because I think that can make this world a better place. So thank you for your generosity. If you're visiting, you're like, God dang it, I want to make an investment in this place today, and you got a big old stack of cash in your pants, weighing you down. Well, I don't know any other way to say that, folks, all right? We got plates for you on the back table there. You can just make a deposit in one of those plates. If you're online with us, I know many of you are, you can go right to our website at faithucc.org and just click on our giving link, and it'll take you to Vanco or PayPal, and you can make a love donation that way. But I just want to say, I hope you have a great day. We're going to sing our way out of here for peace in just a second, but hope you enjoy the Super Bowl. Let's just do an informal poll for those who care. Who says the Chiefs are going to win? Wow, it's just a sparse, wow. Okay, one more, okay, thank you. Who says the Eagles are going to win? Oh! And again, who doesn't care? I hope your chicken wings are tasty. I hope your guacamole is rich. Hope whatever beverages you choose to imbibe are fulfilling. I hope you have an awesome Super Bowl night. Stick around, though, for strategic planning, because there's no better way to set the stage for the Super Bowl than strategic planning. So get some hospitality. Come back in here. We're going to circle up and watch a video from Neil. But I wish you, if you're not sticking around or you're visiting, just like, I'm going to go, I got to get out of here and go do whatever, I wish you an amazing week. Stay tuned for information on lots of stuff coming, and got a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline. So thanks for being here, everybody. Let's rise up and body our spirit as we always do and sing our way out of here for peace. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin right here with us. Amen. Stuff, everybody. You guys nailed it. You nailed it. Nice. Nice. Even with that jersey out. The only thing that sent us back was that jersey. Katie,